We are still waiting on a final trade deal with China. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says we are in a good place for now. Watch.
The Chinese did have a brief bit of retaliation right after April 2nd. We got into a tit for tat. We were at 145% tariffs. They were at 125, which is really an embargo. We had a meeting in Geneva. We brought those down. The U.S. is now, we have a 30% tariff on them, 20% tariffs left on from President Trump's.
Well, next week, Bessent will meet with his Chinese counterparts in Stockholm for more negotiations. Listen to what he had to say about his plan for that meeting.
We're going to be able to move on to the bigger issue of China needing to rebalance. They now account for 30% of global manufacturing. That's unsustainable. They can't export their economic problems to the rest of the world. We'll be talking about the fact that they do buy sanctioned Iranian oil, Russian oil. You know, if they would pause those purchases for 3 or 6 months, I think that the Russian war machine would grind to a halt. Iran negotiations would be much easier.
We've got a China expert to answer all of this, and his name is Gordon Chang, and he's sitting right here in New York with me. Question, Gordon, can we convince China not to buy cheap Russian oil?
We can, Stu, but we can't do it by pleading in public. And what the Treasury Secretary just said sounds almost like he's begging. What you have to do is, this is sanctioned oil. We know that the Chinese are supporting the Russian war effort. They've done that from the beginning. So what we have to do is impose severe costs. Go back to those 130% tariffs. Go back to tariffs that are much higher than that. Then you can get the Chinese to do something. And we know that because their economy right now is in trouble. It's not growing at the 5.2% pace that they reported for Q2. It's probably about zero. Maybe a little bit above, maybe a little bit below, but they really need our market. And by the way, they're not doing very well with the Europeans on trade talks, so they really need the U.S. market.
But what we're asking them to do is to reduce manufacturing output in their society, rein in manufacturing. They are the world's workshop for the whole world. We're asking them to rein that in. That's a tough ask.
Yeah, we're basically asking Xi Jinping not to be a communist. Really, what he has done is he has believed that consumption should not be the basis of the Chinese economy because he does not want to empower Chinese consumers.
Right.
So really what we're doing is they're saying, please have an economy that looks like ours. That's not going to work. We have tried that for decades, and we have had terrible results in this. So you just can't talk to the Chinese about this.
You want to take a very, very strong position here.
Well, yes, because not taking a strong position, which is what we have done for a very long time, hasn't worked. It's produced counterproductive results for us. And so after 3.5 decades, you got to ask, should we try something different? And clearly we do. If we don't want to, that's fine. But we have to understand what we're doing. We have to say, no, we don't want manufacturing in the U.S. anymore. We want to buy everyone in the world should buy Chinese goods. If that's what we want to do, that's fine. But let's be realistic and let's be honest with ourselves.
It's a very high-stakes game, and that's a fact. Separate subject here. President Trump has decided to withdraw the U.S. from the United Nations, the Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. He says the Chinese were influencing that group very strongly. What were they doing? What was China doing with UNESCO?
Well, basically, China is trying to propagate its narratives through UNESCO. And so also the other thing it's trying to do is to attract tourism to China, because one of the things that UNESCO does is have these World Heritage sites. China tries to get everything in China designated a UNESCO World Heritage site so people will come and visit. You know, it's a very effective tactic.
That's what a great idea. So, World Historic Visit, come and see it. Is it up to snuff? I mean, is it that impressive?
Some of the stuff is fantastic that you'll find no place else in the world. I mean, like the Forbidden City in Beijing,
yeah.
Temple of Heaven. All of this stuff is great, but the question is, you got to go to China to go there, and the question is, can you leave?
I'd like to go, but I have the same question.
I would love
leave?
to go, but we haven't been since 2013 because it felt it's too dangerous to go.
That's a shame. Gordon, I'm glad you're here. Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu.